Hey everyone, Joe Slater here. This is my honors project for CSC 100. My assignment is to compare and contrast the two programming languages, C++ and Python. What I'm going to be doing is looking at three different functions of these languages, which are looping, functions, and classes. And I'm going to compare them and show you how they're done in each of the different languages. The first function we're going to be looking at is looping. And as you can see, I have in C++ here, I've already put in my include statements and my namespace and created a main function that I can do work in. The first loop that we're going to look at is the for loop. This is a good simple loop that this loop consists of three different parts. The first part is the initializer, which is kind of like the name. I've set this initializer to counter and set it equal to 0. The next part is the tester. The function tester is that so long as this tester is not satisfied, the loop will continue to loop. And the final part is the updater. This will, every time the loop runs, the updater happens. In this program that I've written, is going to display I Heart C++ 5 different times. And we're going to show how that works. And here we can see that I Heart C++ is spat 5 different times. So that's how the for loop works in C++. Now if we take a look over at Python, the for loop is a lot the same, but there's a few differences. So we're going to go ahead and start the for loop. We'll type in for, and we'll punch in the initializer. We're going to call this initializer each pass, because we're looking at what happens at each pass. Now the difference between C++ and Python when it comes to for loops is that Python requires 3 different inputs for parameter, whereas Python only requires 2. We have the initializer, and now we're gonna put what is like the tester. When I type in, I'm telling the loop what I want to do with my next statement. My next statement is gonna be x range, and I'm gonna put set the parameter to 5. This is gonna tell the program that I want to do whatever's inside this program 5 different times. To tell what's in this loop, I put a colon and indent the next line. Print now I have my this is the for loop in Python. It will be doing the same thing that I did in the C++ one, so we'll go ahead and run it. And then we can see I Heart Python is printed out 5 different times. The next loop I want to take a look at is the while loop. And for C++ here I wrote a program that will be is going to be asking me a question, and it won't let me leave this loop until I get the right answer to the question. So we take a look at it. It's asking me, what is 5 plus 5? If I put in the wrong answer, it's going to tell me I'm wrong and try again until I put in the right answer with 10. This is because the parameter for this while loop is that answer does not equal 10. So long as answer doesn't equal 10, it gets locked in this loop that's telling me I'm wrong. Now we're going to go ahead and start up that same function over here in Python. We can go ahead and erase that because we're done with it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I want to create a variable called answer, set it equal to 0. I want to ask the question, what is 5 plus 5? I want to tell Python that I'm going to input an answer. And then now for my while loop. The while loop is the same as in C++. There's just a little less syntax. for instance, for the while loop in C++, I had to put my parameters inside parentheses. In C++, or in Python, I'm just going to go ahead and type it out, what I want to say. Once again, the colon, an indent to say what's inside the loop. And when I'm inside the loop, because if I get the answer wrong, I'll go ahead and print out tell myself that I'm wrong, and then give myself a chance to put in another answer. Now when we run this program, like the for loop, this should be the same as C++. If I enter in the wrong answer, it'll keep in the loop. When I put in the right answer, it exits. Now those are all the loops that Python provides. C++ does have one more loop called the do while. And since Python doesn't have anything like this, we're just going to show that there are more options for C++. What the do while loop does is it'll run some sort of program and then check to see if the tester is satisfied. So in this case, I have a program that will just ask me to enter my name, and then it's going to ask me to enter an answer if I want to try again. If I type in yes, it'll satisfy this tester, and then start back over at the beginning of the loop. And if I type in no, then it'll break.